Another lovely Saturday morning. Welcome on board the show Politics Today, and it's reaching you live on the ITV network. I'm Sonny Duke Okosun. It's always a delight to bring you this program every other Saturday. Today promises to be as exciting as ever as we review some of the exciting stories and the political scene, and then of course, as always, zero in on the most topical. As usual, you have a role to play by reacting, responding, commenting, criticizing on any of the issues that we're going to highlight in today's program. Our panelists will be joining us virtually from Lagos, where we'll be talking with former presidential spokesman for the NNPP presidential candidate, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, talking about Abubakar Yusuf Esquire, who is also the chairman of League of Patriotic Lawyers. He'll be joining us virtually on the show. And back home in Benin City, a civil society activist, a clergy, Bishop Osadola Oche, will also be joining us in the later part of the program to give some views and perspectives on some other issues. Well, as usual, our studio line will be open so you can call and be part of the conversation. Let's begin the show right now, right away. Yesterday, the news came with the president appointing former Chief of Army Staff to the position of Chief of Defense Staff. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved major changes in the leadership of Nigeria's armed forces in a move aimed at strengthening the nation's security architecture. Under the new appointments, General Olufemi Oloyede replaces General Christopher Musa as Chief of Defense Staff. Major General W. Shaibu becomes Chief of Army Staff. Air Vice Marshal S.K. Aneke takes over as Chief of Air Staff, while Rear Admiral I. Ibas assumes office as Chief of Naval Staff. The Chief of Defense Intelligence, Major General E.A.P. Undendeye, retains his position. The President commended the outgoing service chiefs for their patriotic service and dedicated leadership, while urging the new appointees to justify the confidence reposed in them and to uphold the professionalism, vigilance, and unity that define the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And all appointments take immediate effect. These change in leadership at the level of the service chiefs is on the heels of a rumored coup, which of course the defense headquarters denied outrightly. But there have been a lot of stories, lending some credence to the fact that there was an attempt. That incident was to be on October 1st, with the presidency reacting and the defense headquarters coming out to say the cancellation of the Independence Anniversary celebration was not connected to a coup attempt. But we also heard that some of the officers fingered in this attempted coup were in the office of the National Security Advisor. Some of them, we heard, have been subjected to one activity or the other. This is allegedly. All right, so we'll be talking along those lines just to help you make sense of some of the issues that are happening in the country so you can respond appropriately. Okay, let's move on. The police on Friday rearrested human rights advocate and hashtag Free Nnamdi Kanu Now campaigner Omoyele Sowore shortly after appearing before the Kuje Magistrate Court in Abuja. Sowore, along with Prince Emmanuel Kanu, brother of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, a former member of Kanu's legal team, Aloy Ejimako, and 10 others, had earlier been granted bail after meeting all requirements set by the court. The court had approved bail of 500,000 naira each, with two sureties residing within the Federal Capital Territory, holding valid identification and providing 3 years of tax clearance. However, despite fulfilling the conditions, Sowore was apprehended again by the police officers immediately after the court session and taken back to Kuje Correctional Center. He is expected to be arraigned again on Monday, October 27, on fresh charges connected to his recent claim that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was a criminal. That seems to be the next charge or the next prosecution that is going to take center stage in the travails of Omoyele Sowore in the days to come. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll be having more of the conversation with our panelists joining us from Lagos and then much later from Benin as we x-ray and examine all of these issues. And you have an opportunity to also make your contribution by calling the studio line and making your own contribution. As always, we advise that you be civil and be straight to the point and do not cast aspersion on anyone, whether on air or outside the studio. We'll take a break. We'll be back with you on the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. Please stay. Many thanks again for rejoining us on the program Politics Today on Independent Television and Radio. A bit of a technical challenge getting our panelists to join us virtually. But we've got Abubakar Yusuf, Chairman, League of Patriotic Lawyers, and is also a former presidential spokesperson for the NNPP presidential candidate, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. Many thanks for joining us. Abubakar Yusuf, it's a delight to have you on the program Politics Today this lovely Saturday morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's begin by looking at the recent change of guard with the service chiefs. Mr. President yesterday relieved all the service chiefs of their duties except maybe one or two, which of course, you know, are still within the ambit of the Nigerian security architecture. The former chief of Army Staff is now the chief of Defense Staff. And then, of course, the director of military intelligence retained his position. Quickly, what do you make of these changes that have taken place against the background of the rumors of an alleged coup, because it's happening on the heels of this rumor of an alleged coup, which, of course, the defense headquarters denied vehemently?
In the realm of speculation, because initially the government of the day denied that there was any coup. But with this sudden change now, it stands to reason that there was indeed a coup, and the change was inevitable. Be that as it may, you also agree with me that when you send a man to represent you, either in a fighting bout or whatever, if that fight is becoming tough and early, there's the need to recall that man. These unholy groups, be it Boko Haram, the kidnappers or whatever, they have been drawing rings around the country. You know, they're taking over virtually everywhere in Kwara, Katsina, and they are making roads into Abuja. And they were part of this Southwest. Edo State too, from I don't know how Chiag, but what have you, has almost been taken over, especially the roads. So I don't think it was surprising that we needed to recall the service chiefs and rejig our security apparatus in the entirety. So this is not to blame the service chiefs. They have tried their best. I think there's a need to inject new blood into the system so that this evil past that has been besetting us for the past, almost 2 decades, they are put to rest. I say kudos to the president, and let us see how the new service chiefs will be able to excel. And again, I also congratulate the outgone service chiefs for a job well done. So no matter what they say, they have actually lost some men to pay the supreme price for this fight against insurgency or what have you. It's good to give the necessary encouragement to the new team whilst bidding the old team farewell.
Okay, from former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan through former President Muhammadu Buhari and now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, change of service chief has been like a recurring decimal. But the problem, continues to persist. The problem of insecurity, Boko Haram, banditry, armed robbery, and of course kidnapping, which is a major challenge that has bedeviled this country. Are you concerned that, for example, the IGP is still in the saddle, and there's been reaction about the fact that his term has passed and all of that, but he's still in the saddle?
I'm not really concerned. I'm indeed alarmed that this evil past is still besetting the polity. That we are now like a child without parents. At the Kwankwaso's lecture, Dr. Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso, my mentor, has been able to teach us thoroughly how to checkmate these insurgents. If you will recall very vividly, when Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso was out of office, Obasanjo, the first appointment he got from Obasanjo was Minister of Defense. Was civilian who was barely in his late 40s to be asked to take over that mantle or that ministerial slot from the most feared General Adanjuma. It speaks volumes. You see, if you really look at this insurgency, I'm using our knowledge from the Commercia background. They are divided into three. One, those who are really chronically rigid about inheriting paradise, and the only way they can do this is to kill. Not minding the fact that the Prophet or even the Quran, including the Hadith, has been able to frown, and indeed condemned killing. They tell you that so no matter their motto. So using kinetic force or kinetic alternative to solve this problem will not go the distance, because they actually want to die. In order to inherit paradise, you must die. So you see, you have those people, those who are decidedly very, very resolute that they want to die. So the more you try to engage them in the more they progress. Secondly, you also have the political insurgents. These people were created to come and take over the reins of government. They were brought from outside the country and all that. They are still around. They've not been able to take them back. Then the third one, you have the criminal elements. The intention is to definitely commit crime. So no matter whose source it goes, they keep perpetuating the crime because it's not their means of livelihood. And the Commercia even identify the faults. The fault is being pushed into this type of devilish alternative because of geographical factor, which is confined mainly to the Hausa, the Fulani S-men. They've been driven from their various routes because of geographical insufficiency and the case of luscious grasslands. They are coming down the south to look for how to feed their cattle. But until we are able to pigeonhole all these methods, if we are using only one method, if you don't go the distance. Hate or like Obasanjo, you cannot take from him the ability to identify aircats, that is a square peg in square hole. So when he brought forth Dr. Musa Radu, was able to advise the country very well, and we didn't really have too much to go. So we really need to study this fighting and all that. And let me also mention how Jonathan, no matter the shortcomings, was able to checkmate this insurgency in his time. What did he do? He invited foreign interest from South Africa, and he actually postponed his elections. And within 6 weeks, our bushes and our forests were cleared of insurgency. But I'm surprised that the country is reluctant to develop coal fields, and they do not want to engage concerns. Even America, normally employ this too. Russia, the Wagner force, even, some of the soldiers, they are still involved in Sudan and what have you. America virtually some of the fights in the Middle East. They employ the foreign fighters, private foreign fighters, so to say. But Nigeria is very reluctant, either because the battle is making some people very wealthy, or they are just their inability to consume what is necessary for.
All right, let's quickly scale up the conversation, Barrister Abubakar. Earlier this week, we saw the hashtag Free Nnamdi Kanu protest, and security agents were actually after the protesters. The protest did hold, and then, of course, some of the participants, including Omoyele Sowore and several others, were arrested. And then he was granted bail and rearrested again, this time on a fresh charge. How would you react to some of these issues?
I'm actually very surprised that the government of the day does not want to address this Kanu's case frontally. Kanu, like has always been fighting for the separatist alternative, so to say. And don't forget that United Nations has acknowledged the right of people to determine their future. one would have expected that the government, when he started this struggle, would call for a plebiscite in the whole of Eastern Nigeria. If he wins, so be it. If he does not, we'll continue to try. But they have been by putting Nnamdi Kanu in custody. They've been able to lionize. They've been able to give him a very, very big name. So the more day by day, he spends there in custody, it grows in height. So the federal government has been ill-advised. And even the issue of removing Sowore in. I'm speaking as an individual, not necessarily as the former spokesperson, NNPP. As a former student union leader, I think I sympathize with Nnamdi Kanu, and even Sowore has not been taken into custody. Because the desire to oppress or to repel oppression is innate in the character of man. I salute Nnamdi Kanu, and I also salute Sowore. And I pray that the government will realize that keeping people in custody is not going to do them any good. If anything, it's going to make them taller in height. So the earlier they release them, especially Sowore that has not done anything, the better for them. And I'm even surprised that the issue of bail is being taunted, as if that's the silver bullet. It has been said that issue of bail is very constitutional and fundamental. And one would have expected, if what they are telling us, that Sowore breached the security permissible lines. That's why I was taken to custody. This is Mr. Meno, though I must consider the fact that I've not really seen the so-called charge sheet. That should have been built, with self-recognizance. So let us see what happens tomorrow. And if they continue to keep them in custody, then it will mean that they have not learned anything.
Now Sowore is being prosecuted for calling Mr. President criminal. Isn't that defamatory? I mean, you're a lawyer.
No, I don't think into custody has nothing to do with that for now. He has been taken into custody for participating in the demonstrations or protests, and what they are saying is that he breached allowed the lines. The question you will ask is that it has been held in the case of Buhari versus Inspector General Police that you have your innate right to demonstrate. No court of law can take that from you. So in the event of a clash between the constitutional or what the court enabled only last week and the constitution, of course the constitution will prevail to the extent of its inconsistency. And it has been said by the Supreme Court when this case was Buhari versus IGP that once these people have decided to take it, the police should even be there to protect this right. So I'm surprised that the police, rather than protecting this right, they are not enablers of destroying sale. It is very laughable and very, very challenging. So I wish them good luck, and I hope they will leave these people in no time so that we'll be able to face the true business of government and governance.
If you just join us, it's still Politics Today on independent television and radio. Our focus so far is on the change of guard at the level of service chiefs from the Army staff, Naval staff, Air staff, and of course all other military formations that we have in the country, basically just to ensure there is a new lease of life. But we hope that the new service chiefs will live up to the expectations of the average Nigerians because of what has become of the insecurity situation across the country. Now, one video came out recently, and I'd like Abubakar Yusuf to react to this video where the former governor of Kano State, as a matter of fact, two former governors, their rivalry, their differences, still continues unabated. And recently, we saw that video where Umar Ganduje took a swipe at Rabi Musa Kwankwaso and also Lamido Sanusi, the former emir of Kano, as it were, who was sacked by his government. And he came out to explain why he did that. And it was such an uncomfortable situation for both Kwankwaso and Lamido Sanusi, who were both seated together when he was making this comment. Let's take a listen. We'll be back with you on the program.
Sanusi was later appointed Taban at the Emir of Kano, not because he was the best man, but because by appointing him, that was to retaliate what Jonathan did to him. That was in order to prove Jonathan that what he did was wrong, and the people of Kano wanted their son, and therefore they decided to appoint him as the Emir of Kano. But you know that when he was appointed, there was a lot of demonstration, a lot of burning tires here and there. And yet, because of government backing, he sustained those two. When I became the governor, that is why you laugh. I said, yes, Jonathan's medicine is an important medicine. That medicine, even though I'm not a medical doctor, but that medicine will serve the same purpose on the same disease and of the same patient. So I took my Jonathan medicine and decided to save the system, to save the institution, and applied it effectively. And Jonathan were on the same page. I'm sure you had no regrets. I too have no regrets.
So you'd expect that this is one rivalry that will continue for a long time to come, talking about Umar Ganduje, former governor of Kano State, versus his SY political godfather, who is also former governor of Kano State, talking about Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. Well, if you follow that video clearly, Ganduje said Lamido Sanusi was not the best qualified person to be Emir of Kano, but he was enthroned as a revenge against Jonathan, who sacked him as CBN governor. But when he came, he felt that, he saw that he needed the Jonathan's medicine, and so he had to apply it very well for a disease that he knew it would be cured. And what was that disease? The disease of having Sanusi Lamido as the Emir of Kano. And eventually he sacked him. So this is going to continue unabated, and you can see that the two gentlemen who were the subject of that tirade were there seated and feeling uncomfortable. But let me get you to react to this. Abubakar Yusuf, I know you're still there. You've seen this video and how the reactions have traded. I mean, why would Ganduje take advantage of such an opportunity to throw such jabs at Sanusi and, of course, Kwankwasia, your principal?
Well, let me quickly tell you here and now that that video is fraudulent. It never happened. It was AI generated to put mud in the sparkling Babariga of Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi. It never happened. There was no occasion whatsoever. Check all the platforms where Dr. Abdullah Guluje will be speaking, then my leader, Dr. Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso, and Samido Sanusi will be at the backstage. So generated by the same evil past, to evil past that refused to quit the scene, who want to dominate the present and usurp the future. And again, you know, these were two occasions, separate occasions. I'm sure the first was taken when Guluje was trained jabs, and Dr. Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso will be there. Dr. Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso remains the mentor, and Ganduje is his mentee. He will not be able to directly throw judge at Dr. Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso like that. It never happened. It was brought about. It was that those videos were put together to extol the virtue of Ganduje, which he does not have. Don't forget that Dr. Ganduje just came back from hospital treatment by the president, Tinubu. He was so devastated and was taken out. So this occasion never happened. It was meant to further his own nest and to put him on the pedestal of importance. Then back to the issue of Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. Who was the better person that they were going to put forward as the emir of the Kano? I guess nobody. And why did he leave? He left because he felt that Jonathan government, they were putting hands in the treasury. They were taking from the funds of NNPC, about $40 million went away. All entities were making take the bastard. He refused to compromise and demanded justice. And so that cost him the seat in central bank. So I think Gandhi is still very bitter that the man, when he was there, he could not really mention the same, was not in the same intellectual platform or wavelength with him. So he had no choice but to use the sledgehammer. Thank God that he has been brought back, and he's ruling over the place of the people of Kano, and they are very, very happy. You know, so it was a fraudulent video, and I don't want you to lay any emphasis on it. We are still very, very comfortable with Lamido Sanusi Lamido, and it's taking Kano to higher heights.
Okay, let's just talk a bit more about the state of the nation in terms of the quality of life, the state of the economy, and the government policies to ameliorate the plight of Nigerians. I've heard people say that the president is doing his best, but the state governors need to come up strong in terms of allowing these policies to trickle down, because they're receiving more monies than they used to have. Mr. President has said that, you know, several times in different forums. So what do you make of this, you know, perception?
We are in dire straits. We are living in perilous times. The average Nigerian has become poorer, while the very wealthy Nigerian, which includes but not limited to the governors, they have become richer. The money that is accruing from the removal of petroleum subsidy has gone into the pockets of the governors and the so-called big men. It's not trickling down. That's what we're saying. The hunger in the land is very, very, very tempestuous for tempest. And I said there's an intervention. I'm sorry to say that probably will not be able to this poor man will not be able to live to 2027. But don't forget that the poor, the very, very poor, the Talakawas, the poverty, the poor, poorest of the poor, they are our main constituency. And we are carrying a lot of load. That is why you have not been able to see us in the public domain. But we are trying to ensure that the poor do not take the backstage. So we employ the government of the day as a worthy and a most viable position to ensure that the poor, they are given a pride of place, so that they don't kill them before 2027. That's why my leader, Dr. Musa Rabi Kwankwaso, is always campaigning for the rehabilitation of the poor, out of school children, you know, and what have you. So it's unfortunate that we are in this type of dialogue. While we are suffering and asking for succor, the people are becoming very, very, the leaders are becoming very, very poor. Sorry, they are becoming very, very rich. How else can you justify the government that has more than 20 SUV in this convoy? And one is passing, the people will be clapping and hailing. So, well, be that as it may, we are looking forward to 2027, where we are ready to change the status quo. And as it stands, I must tell you that we have thrown Dr. Musa Rabi Kwankwaso's camp into the ring, and then we're waiting for the whistle. If we win, we'll be the statesman that he has always been. If he does not, he will be the sportsman that he has always been.
How is that even possible? How is that even possible? Because we have seen some of the alignments and realignments politically in the build-up to 2027. He hasn't even shown any interest or direction as to where he's going, leaving his followers like you in limbo. I mean, we saw the emergence of ADC and the fanfare that it created. We saw all the movements and all of that. That seems to be the biggest and perhaps the strongest, you know, alignment and convergence that we're seeing in the build-up to 2027. The NNPP seems to be a loner in this whole conversation, in these two structures building up to 2027?
You see, we have a magic and we have a surprise for those who are doubting us. Kano State, if I may tell you, because we have been told not to let out our winning tickets. Kano State has about 8 million registered voters. And everywhere we decide to go, when I say we are going into the ring, it doesn't mean that we are going alone. In fact, if you have less than a month or less than 6 months to the election, you can always form an alliance. And whosoever will back with our 8 million votes is going to come out successful. And if we pull out 8 million votes from you, you are going to be in limbo. So I will tell you not to say Hosanna here, just watch us. When we are moving slowly, doesn't mean that we don't know what we are doing. But when the tiger threats something, it doesn't mean that the tiger is afraid. We are being tactful, we are going to be consistent in our demands, and we are going to be unyielding the same. The mere fact that we have not been able to tell the world what we are going to do does not mean that we don't have the direction. We are just watching with that attention.
Barrister Abubakar, isn't this delusional? I mean, when you know there's a saying that a tree can't make a forest. From this analysis that you're giving, looking at the political structure, political permutation in the country right now in the build-up to 2027?
You are trying to undermine the voting masses of Kano, which is about 8 million. We are having the kids.
Kano is just one state in a state of 36 states, including the FCT.
Yes. Whosoever, if we withdraw that support from whosoever is touting himself as the winner of 2027, we discover that person will be a loser. We have 8 million we are controlling. Don't forget that only last week, even the president, when he was congratulating Dr. Musa Rabi Kwankwaso, he said, behold, Aminu Kano's a successor. You know, he has able to identify us as a worthy partner, not only himself, all the parties. So we are not in a hurry. When I say we are going to win, it does not mean that we are no longer entering into an alliance, but we are keeping our cards to our chest. And by the time we are going to release it, I tell you something, you are going to marvel, and it's going to make the difference in determining who becomes the real occupants of Aso Rock. We say this and we mean it.
The line will be open so you can call and also contribute to the discussion on the program Politics Today on Independent Television and Radio. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and let's have your contributions. The studio number will be there shortly, so you can also call and be part of it. Please endeavor to make your contribution as brief as possible so you can give others the opportunity to contribute to the conversation. 08077770300. That's the studio number. We'll get that on course in just a moment. Please stay with us to Politics Today on Independent Television and Radio. Of course, we're back now to attend to your contributions to the program Politics Today on Independent Television and Radio. Tell us your name and where you're calling from, and then go ahead with your contribution. 080-7777-0300. 080-7777-0300. That's our studio number. Dial the number right now and let's get your contribution to the conversation. Of course, I know there is a bit of a technical challenge with the network, which of course has been very crazy in recent times, but let's hope that we can put the course through and be part of the conversation this lovely Saturday morning. We'll have our first caller on the show. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning, Sonu.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I'm Mr. Osime Ehimari from Lokiwe, Dubai.
All right, Mr. Himari, please go ahead.
I'm just tired because the problem we are in Nigeria for many years, because I'm an elderly man. I'm just surprised where Nigeria is like this. Somewhere I'm young. Nigeria is not like this. I don't know where we live, where we mistake for this situation Nigeria today. You don't know who's who, you don't know who's come from, you don't know what to report matter to. Everybody everywhere, you don't know what is happening. So I don't know what is happening for Nigeria. If Nigeria mistake or somebody we offend somebody, make it forgive Nigeria. Because where we are going, where we come from. So it just Nigeria got divided into three. Thank you very much, Senator Kosu.
All right, thank you, Yemari. Thank you for your call, our first caller on the show. Thank you. Okay, 080-7777-0300. That's the studio number. Dial it right now, right away. And let's get your take on all our conversations so far on the program. 080-7777-0300. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? You're live on Politics Today. Good morning.
Morning, Sonny Professor.
Good morning. What's your name, sir?
Sonny Gadusa is my name.
Sonny Gadusa, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. Unfortunately, today's program was not too good at all because of technical issue.
Yeah.
We just had to manage.
Absolutely.
But, based on the preamble that you gave,
Yeah.
we're able to know that this is what we're expecting. On the area of the service chief, I think I pleaded with you like almost 2 years ago that when you look at the feedback you are getting, they are not good enough. Fire the service chiefs. The one that you are reappointing will learn. If they don't meet the responsibility of Nigerians, fire them again. So whether there was a plot, there was an allegation of coup and all that, does not actually matter to Nigerians. You even know that Nigeria will be happy. But sincerely speaking, they have not lived to expectation. So firing them now is already out of time. And I think that the new one that are coming right now should not be business as usual. For Dr. Rabi Kokaso, a man who I've always admired, I think he needs to move out of the comfort zone of Kanu politics. He needs to duplicate what he has already done in Kanu State, in all over the state. If you continue to measure on his achievement in Kanu State, that shows that during the 2027 election, he can still get over 2 million votes, but that will not be enough to take him to Aso Rock. I think he needs to move beyond what he's doing right now, up his game and see how he can move faster. But for Nigerian politicians, I think he should go beyond criticism. Look at the life of Nigeria today. Are they better than we left them in 2015 or 2014? What can we do to make life better? Because without the citizen, you cannot actually be talking about the office of the president or the office of the governor, as the case may be. They need to look beyond their personal or their coincidence to take over power to see how they can, on their own, make quota system to bring Nigeria to a better place.
Okay.
For the issue of Sowore, we said yesterday on one of your programs yesterday that Sowore has been arrested for too many counts to know. I think Nigerian government should see how they can excuse themselves for the issue of Sowore and see how they can look at the message that they have been trying to push across to our leaders. If that is not done, they are more sure to be arrested. But I also think that Chowore should know that the president has immunity clause that is covering him. And I think that for you to be able to fight a just cause, you must be careful so that at the end of the day, you will not fall into the trap that they said. If that is done, I can tell you, politicians will continue to fear him. Good morning, God bless Nigeria.
Thank you, Sonny Adusa. Thank you for those very robust, useful insights you brought to bear on the program. We're still taking calls before we call it a wrap on the show. 08077770300 is our studio number. Good morning, caller. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Sonny Duke Person.
Good morning. What's your name and where you're calling from?
I'm JV Dennis, calling for Sapler Road.
JV Dennis, please go ahead.
Yes. You see, Kenji, Chief of Army, Chief Defense Staff, he will not bring another new result. Because if you look at the man that was taken to be the Chief of Army Staff, he has been there from the defense. And security has been devil this nation. The other one they removed, Christopher, the other one, who was the Chief of Army Staff before, Christopher Musa.
Chief of Defense Staff.
The Chief of Army Staff. The man trying, especially Sata Kaduna. That's just the only way that I know that they try very well. Before that man was taken from that place to become a Chief of Army Staff, we know how the Sata Kaduna, the insecurity of devil Sata Kaduna. So if you talk about the country generally, they are not really doing well. I don't see anything changing because the one of the say have been there. Which experience have you go to use again now? Would they still deploy to come and be the Chief of Army Staff? We don't really know what's going to happen. And that of Kokoso, you know, Kokoso have been moving out of Kano State. The only area that they only have done in Kano State. Because the other time when he contested as the president, the only way he has many votes is Kano. But it does not go beyond Kano. So that's just my conclusion.
All right. Thank you, JB Tennis. Well, that's a wrap on our package today. But let me quickly link up with our guest, only guest on the program, Abubakar Yusuf. Give me your parting shots as we call it a wrap on the show. I mean, from the feedback from our viewers and listeners who've been contributing so far on the program.
Yes, I want to tell them that it will not be long when they will hear from NNPP and Kwankwaso, because we are descendants of a suffering people. We are descendants of the people. And I must tell you that you will not wait for too long before you hear what we have in store for you.
Okay, our time is up, Barrister Abubakar Yusuf. I want to thank you very, very especially for creating the time to be with us on the program today, Politics Today, on independent television and radio. Yes, somehow our expectations for the show today was not really, met because of technical hitches when we started. But all the same, we are happy that we brought you the program anyhow, anyway. As they always say, the show must go on. Next week promises to be a better edition of the show, and I hope you'll be with us to have a lovely interaction and conversation on the program Politics Today on ITV and radio. I'm Sonny Duke Okosun, thanking you for staying with us. Have a beautiful weekend ahead. Bye for now.